Crush my heart with a hammer. Make a new one. Hey, folks. We are going to do some... Hey, we're going to do some game design tonight. That's right. It's Thursday. Man, I am excited. Let me check my signal here for volume. I am excited. Yep, I sure am. I love working on new books. The Monday through Friday in the morning, I do artwork for the next book that's going to publish. And that's pretty much a habit. It's like Monday through Friday in the morning, I come on stream and do artwork for 90 minutes or whatever. And that's every day. And then in the evenings, most of the time I'm off screen. You don't see a lot of me. And so during that time, I'm either doing like page layouts or writing up mechanics for whatever book we're working on. But right now, because the Eberron book is in the pipe and getting ready to publish, I'm working on artwork in the evenings. Whenever I'm not on camera, I'm pretty much painting in the Eberron book at this point, just to maps and tokens and scenes on pages of different rooms and stuff. That's generally what I'm doing. But I stream 9 times per week, so Mondays and Thursday nights like this, I have an opportunity to work on whatever the next book is. And currently the next book is looking like it's called Bastion Campaigns. That's what we're going to be playing with tonight. I'll introduce you to that content here in a moment, but just to say, my name is Phil Kearney. I've been a DM since 1987. I've been a freelance illustrator since 1999, and I've been creating content on the DMsGuild since 2018. And I got started in making stuff for 5th edition. On the DMsGuild because the general philosophy of 5e is to minimize mechanics, to look at whatever narrative you got going on in the game and see how you can make it work inside of the rules that currently exist. So as a design bug, I like to make stuff. So 5e is a great playground because it's a good game engine that you can just clip things and modify very, very easily to create different flavor games. And so the Bastion campaign that we're proposing here is a way to restylize your campaign that we've spent a ton of sessions talking about. And I'm late today because I was playing Shadow Dark on Wally DM's channel. So I'm just going to get started here. So if you think this stuff is cool, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications when we're live in the future. Here's a stack of books that I've already published on the DMsGuild. They're all 100% free preview. You can read the whole thing. If you decide that it's worth your time, then maybe consider a purchase. You'll get a bunch of tokens and maps and stuff like that, like character sheets or whatever add-ons I have for you. Most of them have something like that. Here is the playtest document that we're working in right now for the Bastion's campaign. Blip, you can see it here. I'll probably be working through a number of different documents today because I tend to open and work in different sections of the book at the same time. So I'm going to pull this tab out here for the Bastion campaign. Today we are, hey Steve, we are working on, so here's a facility. You have a Bastion. Your Bastion has Bastion points. As you gain more Bastion points, you increase the rank of your Bastion. Your Bastion ranks up similarly to how characters gain proficiency bonuses at 1st, 5th, 9th, 13th, and 17th level. So a Bastion can have a number of orders issued to it per Bastion turn, which is a week. And so at 1st rank, it's 1, and at 5th rank, it's 6. You can buy additional orders per Bastion turn by expending like a mana pool. You expend Bastion points to either do things or to have access to by installing facilities. So everything is done through facilities in the Bastion system, and that's how it's listed in the DMG. You have to have a facility to do a thing, and the thing that you do has to be caused by the facility. So, like for instance, you can issue the Arcane Study in order to research a magic spell. Depending on how many Bastion points are sunk into the Arcane Study determines the level of spell that can be researched and the difficulty to do so. The Bastion, unless your character is spending downtime activity themselves there and researching the spell themselves with an ability check, you use the Bastion use the Bastion tests. And a Bastion test is a D20 plus the rank of your guild, and the Bastion die that you roll instead of having a proficiency bonus. So a first rank facility is a D20 plus 1, and then you add a D4 in addition to it, like the proficiency die from the DMG in 2014. So you can have, in this instance, a range of anywhere from 3 to 25. Basically, is what a first rank Bastion can do when you issue an order for it to make something. You can't have, you could put more points into something. I need to reword this. It's not so much about the Bastion points as it is the rank that you get a facility to, which you get there by putting points into it. But the actual mechanic here is the facility, and we're gonna have to update that. So we have we're gonna go with let's see, facility rank. That's probably the best way to put this. So whenever my guild, whatever rank my guild is, whatever rank my Bastion is at, that's the maximum rank I can have credit for in any facility that I install in that Bastion until the Bastion accumulates enough points to level up to a higher rank. And then I can put, like, I could put as many points into the arcane study as I want, but I only get credit for one of them until my Bastion becomes second rank. And then I can just spend points to automatically level them up. So like if I have 6 Bastion points at first rank, then I could have like 6 different facilities that are all operating at first rank, which is the highest rank they can operate at right now. I'd have 6 of these different facilities that allow me to take different actions and give me different benefits, but I don't have any bandwidth. Like I can't stabilize an income because you can spend Bastion points to stabilize a lifestyle. You can spend additional Bastion points to issue additional orders. And if you start having complications in the things that you need to do, you're going to need more orders available so you can order your Bastion NPCs to take action to resolve the complications on top of actually trying to perform the task they're trying to do. Like if I issue the order for my Bastion to research a magic spell on first rank, it can either be a cantrip or a first level spell, and to do so, difficulty is only a 10. But I only have a D20 plus 1 plus D4. So I could get anywhere from a 3 to a 25. Once I hit second rank, I'm going to be rolling a D20 plus 2 plus D6, and the difficulty is a 15. But if I don't hit that 15, like for a second level spell, I create a complication. And so the complication is preventing me from completing the order. Once I resolve the complication, the order will be completed. It's just a matter of what do I need to do to resolve the complication. In a campaign, in a Bastion campaign, you create an adventure plot hook for your characters to go on an adventure that solves whatever the problem is. Whether it's inside the Bastion dealing with monsters or a curse or a rogue spell or something, or it's abroad hunting down treasure or exploring a space or interrogating somebody abroad. It's either in or out of house. But the complication exists and it becomes your adventure for that turn, and each turn is a week. So if a character were to, like, say, have a one shot every week, then every week in your Bastion is a literal week in real time because you're syncing up with that. And so you're basically living your character's life week by week in the Bastion. What bullshit's coming up this week, Buffy? Like the Vampire Slayer. Every week there's a new monster or a new curse or a new demon, or the wizard got into books she shouldn't have gotten into. Now she's a catfish. Who knows? All sorts of stuff like that. So you create complications and you resolve them. So we're looking at complications further down below on a later session. But when you install these facilities, like that's one example. But there's also other things that you can do. Like the archive has a facility benefit that when you issue the research order, like to research a spell, you can roll an additional Bastion die, adding the highest result of the check. So in this, if I have an archive and an arcane study, now when I make that study check for my spell, I can roll 2 4-sided dice, plus 1 plus d20. And of those 4-sided dice, I'll keep the highest result. So it's like an inspiration die. It's pushing the likelihood of me having better results without stacking a huge pile of dice that makes difficulty checks trivial. the bounded accuracy of DC 10 to 30 is 5 ranks of success that you can have to set the difficulty that corresponds with the proficiency bonus modifier that your character has, which is also called half casting progression. So as your characters gain levels, you could decide that your Bastion automatically levels up with the character and then just automatically gains the proper amount of Bastion points, or you could have the Bastion point lead first, and when you as you gain ranks in your Bastion, you can start creating characters of the level that the Bastion allows, 1st, 5th, 9th, 13th, 17th level, and represent the scale of the campaign with the characters that you're using to resolve complications is reflected by the scaling power of the Bastion. So you can level them up separately from each other the same way. I'm going to collect loot as treasure as characters as I gain levels, and I'm going to dump all that loot into buying Bastion points. And when I have enough Bastion points, I will gain a level. I'll gain a rank in my Bastion, and I can expand all my facilities and be able to do better and better stuff to support my higher and higher level characters. So the two systems complement each other, but can be completely separate. You could technically run an entire campaign without characters at all, just the Bastion as a ability check, low combat system. I'm developing that game independently. It's called Guild Delvers, and it'll be on Kickstarter eventually. So if you're interested, stick around. We'll be delving into that space. We'll be delving into that space when I'm done with my D&D books. So, and I'll eventually start working on it here on camera with you guys. So you have these orders. So that's a facility benefit. We're working on facility benefits today. These modifiers on like this die modifier is a great example of a facility benefit. The armory. When you're defending the Bastion from attack, you can roll an additional Bastion die, adding the highest roll to the result of the check. Because a combat conflicts, we call them conflicts, sabotage or sieging bastions and settlements. So if you're having a conflict with your Bastion, it resolves the same way as any other ability check is. The rank of the Bastion is going to set the DC to damage them. You're going to make a d20 plus rank of your Bastion plus your Bastion die, however many you get to roll depending on how you do things. You would then, that's your die roll, that's your Bastion test, and if it hits the armor class or the defense of the target Bastion, if you hit its defense target, then you're able to strip away Bastion points from it. So, and the amount of Bastion points that you deal is, not too surprising, your Bastion die. A first rank Bastion has 10 points. It can deal d4 damage. A 5th rank Bastion has at least 40 Bastion points, but technically it has no limit to how many Bastion points it could have. As far as the DM is concerned, it could be literally infinite, and that is the way that you start organizing a multi-dimensional god that's worshipped by billions, to start looking at like how many Bastion points would he have in his kingdom in heaven. It's nearly unlimited. Well, what can you do with all that stuff? Well, here's a way to codify all the stuff you could do with these Bastion points if you had unlimited resources as a god. And so now you can start looking at, well, if I had a temple, like my 9th level cleric temple, if that cleric created a temple and did most of the experience points by performing missions that further its god's purpose, your character could gain, like in Theros, piety, and then that piety could translate into Bastion points in the temple, because piety in Theros goes from 1 to 50, and by the time you hit 50, you are basically top tier. You're like high priestess of, I don't know, Ao or whatever. But I don't know Theros God's name so good. It's my weakest Strixhaven setting. But the point stands is it goes 1 to 50, and Renown in Ravnica goes from 1 to 50. And I've talked about before, Strixhaven college credits go from 1 to 50. So you can use these social resources that they introduced into the MTG settings and use those as Bastion points in this system, literally like this. So as your character gains more power, like more piety following a god, then more hirelings, just like devoted followers of that god, just naturally flock to you and start offering resources and asking how they can advance your goals. That basically becomes a cult. Your bastion is basically a cult of similar believers in the same god that you've gained piety in. So that's a really fun way to play a campaign that way. Ravnica is the exact same way. As you gain more renown in your guild, you literally get more resources and hirelings in the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. You can just lean in and borrow that into the Bastion system, where your renown is now how many Bastion points your overarching guild. Like if you're in House Dimir and you've got like 15 points of renown with House Dimir, that's a second ranked Bastion you have resources with. You could invest in a spy network and in a research center and creating invisibility potions. Like this is how you could be expending those points to be able to create different hideouts around town. Like 5 points here, that's a first rank facility. Like 6 points over here, that's another first rank facility. Have a bunch scattered around, so as you get more renown with Dimir, you can advance your different hideouts as different safe havens for you to hide and change your identity and do all that Dimir stuff. Meanwhile, Boros would be investing all their points into give me a section of your say northern fortress in the 6th district. Now you have a barracks in the North Fortress of the 6th District, and you start building up that barracks and eventually gain enough Bastion points that you take over the entire Citadel, and now you're in charge of the Northern District and the northern portion of the 6th District. And if your renown climbs, like say to 25 points, you take over all of the 6th District. And if you get to 50 renown, like as a 20th level character, you're now making the tactical decisions and the Bastion actions for the entire Boros Legion as deep down as you want to go. So you can really, really dive into deep mechanics or keep it super light, depending on how hard you want to lean into a different style of play. So the facility benefits help make those hitting those ability checks better, and it gives you other type of perks to be able to interact with other bastions and systems. So what we're trying to develop here, because I get on these tears, I get excited. The only time I look at this document is when I'm on stream with you right now, because this is a secondary project. So you see all the time that I invest into it right now. But we've structured the different types of orders that can be, we're still in let's get past the different facilities, because we've structured how downtime activities work and all the different variants that go along with it. And then we also codified issuing orders to bastions and how that operates, what the dice do for you, what kind of general benefits can you get when you issue an order, what are specific types of benefits, specific orders that can be issued that either change your relationship with another bastion, grant your character some sort of perk, or gather information that you or your bastion can make use of. Bringing in new allies like sidekicks or monsters to defend your fort, or just hire troops for an army to attack other bastions or defend your own from siege. And then when we get past all that stuff, we get into the variant and unique orders that can be given. Just a quick brief description. Basically, if it doesn't conform with one of these general orders, then all the mechanics and explanation that you need for the unique order to that facility is contained in the description of that facility. So it's self-contained, and we have so many standardized actions that you can take, and so many standardized downtime activities and standardized facility benefits that we can have basic benefits, and then we can have unique benefits, and we'll go through that process and codify all of this stuff all the same. So that's where we're at right now. That's what we are currently in the process of codifying. So what we're going to do, the way we're going to do this, is we're going to go through each bastion, and I'm going to crack open a Word doc here, and anytime a bastion, a facility offers a facility benefit, we're going to mark what that facility benefit is on our list over here. And then once we've gone through all the facilities, we'll have our full list, and then we can break down that list into all this stuff is similar to all this other, like match like with like, and separate unique things. And the unique things remain up in the facility description as they already are. And then we look at how many of these things are actually the same thing, just worded differently. And that becomes basic benefits that we then pull out of the description of the facility and say, as a basic benefit, you can add an additional Bastion die when you make research checks. And then we'll give all the reasons, like how does that mechanic work, down here in the description of the basic facility, basic benefits that you can get through facilities. And if there's more type of benefits other than that are available, then we can codify what those are and then shorten the language, extract the language from the facilities and drop it here into how the mechanics work, so we can keep the facilities trim and very basic, because we want to make a system that is like, we want this separation between basic, variant, and unique abilities, orders, and benefits, because we want to teach people using this system how to make their own facilities, so that you can look at, so once you understand how the system works, you can go, like, if I want to make, like a Dimir disguise house or something. I don't know what the term would be, but basically, if you go there, you spend a downtime. If you spend a downtime activity there for the week, you can craft a disguise that duplicates the mannerism and appearance of a target that you've spent a turn researching, so you understand their movements. Like, I can now duplicate that person. I can fake their identity because I spent a Bastion turn having my spies research about this target's mannerisms. Now I'm starting to build a facility that's different from the spy house. That's like a forgery or something like that. Like making forgeries and this disguise idea. So anyway, that's like a type of facility that we could just like make. Like, we just made that one up here on the fly. Like, that's how easy it is. So like, you would gain, like, you have the ability to craft the disguise kit. Another benefit is if you take a downtime activity there, you have advantage on anyone. Anyone trying to see through your disguise is going to have disadvantage. And maybe there's like an additional perk that's like, you can use your Bastion die to reduce their observation checks to see through your disguise or not. That's a cool benefit. And then as a research order, you can spy on a target to blueprint their mannerisms, so that when you spend your downtime there, you can adopt those appearances. So a character could have their downtime activity and issue the order to research during the same turn. So as you're crafting the disguise that you're going to use, your spies keep bringing you more information about your target. They have this limp. They always use this color of socks. So you start stitching this stuff together and creating this magical identity as House Dimir. And you're basically empowering a false identity that when you don it like a Dwemer, it becomes an illusion spell, a black-blue energy illusion spell that's difficult to penetrate because it's Dimir magic, not just a physical disguise. It's like, that's 3 benefits that you get from the Dimir cloning factory or whatever it is. Whatever, I don't know what we would call it, whatever. But that's like a real quick example. But since we've been codifying all of these mechanics so much, we can just basically cherry pick all these different ideas. You get 3 per facility. So you can cherry pick 3 ideas that's like, this is the most Dimir disguise idea that we can come up with. And all those mechanics that came up on the fly are already existing in here as basic orders, or basic crafting orders, or basic downtime facility. Like, that's a unique downtime facility benefit. But it's pairing with a basic use of research and basic crafting rules. So, and we already have all that shit codified in here. So it's really easy just to make up new facilities. It's like, hey, I have extra Bastion points laying around. Can I pull together a new facility that has this, this, and this? And as long as they aren't breaking any of the rules of synergy, then you can go ahead and pair those things together. You don't want to have anything that complements itself too much. Like, if I can issue the research order, I shouldn't also be able to give myself an additional die to research. Like, I'm double dipping the same facility. That's kind of like bad form. So, but that's pretty much the only real rule that exists. Just don't double dip like that. And there's few instances where you can. So it's more like a guideline. But anyway, that's the way to make you rely on other facilities to help synergize and optimize how you're building. But you could drop, like if research is your bag, you could choose a different subject to research and build a facility around it, and then have another facility built to support by giving extra dice towards making those research checks and crafting and empowering and downtime stuff and all that shit. Pick 3. So anyway, so that's I guess I'm done pontificating for now. You can probably get me on another tear pretty easily. So we're going to go to War Room is first on our list, and each one of these peg marks is a separate benefit. So when issuing an order to attack or revive, I'm just going to copy these. You know what? These are short enough. I bet just copying them is the most efficient way I could run this right now. Yeah, let's do that. So there, and I'm just gonna pick up all these. Like the trophy room does nothing but offer facility benefits, which kind of makes sense because it's a trophy room. I kind of like that. Here and here and here. So we're compiling this stuff right now, and once we have all of them on the notepad, we'll be able to break them apart. Training area. Why aren't you picking up the dash? I wonder. Theater. The theater and the gambling house, I like them a lot. They as downtime activity, they give you a set of Bastion dice that your character can carry out into the world during an adventure to basically act as like a stack of inspiration points that you gain for spending a downtime, in that facility. And what are we working on? Storehouse. Like there's a lot of neat. I think there's a lot of neat stuff built in here that encourages your characters to want to spend downtime there to gain. Like if you know what your next mission is going to be, like if you're targeting something, you can spend downtime to gain research and intelligence on that target, so you can get the stack of dice working for you, so that you can when you make your move and you have your adventure, you're gonna have literally all of this inspiration stacked up for you. So it's useful. It's a very practical solution. It's like, why would characters want downtime in their Bastion? Because if you structure, I can talk and copy at the same time. This is great for me. I'm gonna hit save a bunch, or I'm gonna hit enter a bunch to create some more space here. I can ramble while I'm talking about stuff. That's awesome. Spy Network. Here we go. Let's get on the page here. Spy Network. But I am a huge fan of Dominion style play. Smithy. Where your characters take command of an organization or a settlement or something, and then they start, Dominion style, they start making decisions for the place. You're the authority. What do you want us to do? I think that's super cool. I love that style of play. Your character, your team might not like my team. We had yesterday in my Eberron Spelljammer campaign where we're using this Bastion campaign idea. It's an Eberron Spelljammer campaign. They're in orbit around Eberron. The Bastion is that they own an asteroid mining corporation, and it's ran by gnomes, dwarves, and warforged. And there's a bunch of rival mining operation companies, like Droam has one, and Sarlona has one, and the Aranel Elves have one. And so there's all these, and like the Dragon Mark house, the human Dragon Mark houses, they have them. There's all these different mining corporations that are that are basically competing for mineral rights over asteroids. That when you have ownership, you can go and mine it for gold and silver. It's a random resource that it has, a different type of valuable. And the further away from the planet you get, the more expensive it becomes for your characters to be able to provide a pipeline, like a commerce line, to keep resources connected at these further and further asteroids that they're mining on. So they have to. So the rank of your bastion determines how far away from the refineries in on the planet, how far away you can get from there for you to be able to properly service as a business on a weekly basis. On a bastion turns 10 days in this, so every 10 days they have to gather material and then bring it back to the refinery so they can get paid to get more bastion points that they can then start investing towards growing their bastion. And the team is really starting to get how they can start bending resources around, like how they can use their bastion points to get extra orders. Like they found this temple that had a bunch of scriptures in it in a language they didn't understand, so they gave it to their research team to figure out what the language is and what does it mean. So each bastion turn they can have one book translated. So I'm telling them this history lesson and these scrolls that they found, and it's telling them about upcoming apocalypse and horrible monsters and the consequences of failure. And they're like, well, we're still missing data, and it's going to be a number of weeks before we get all of this, but it sounds like we should be prepping for something bad. So like they're making plans towards that. So now they're really leaning into how much stuff can we actually learn with this research. It's like, what do you want to learn? And now they're thinking about like rival guilds, sending spies into these rival guilds to gather information about like how their operations work and stuff. They're really starting to lean into it. And it's super fucking exciting for me because they get it. These are a bunch of people that have never played that style of game before. And at first they were just thinking about, they're thinking through their characters. What do I want to do with this character, and what's the next adventure, and how am I going to progress this guy? But now they're starting to think outside of they've all lost characters at this point, and they've rolled up new characters. And I keep telling them, like, it really doesn't matter. You could just make a new character and if you love this character, just bring them out when you think it's time to bring them out, and just make a different character that's a different hireling in the bastion in the operation that you run, and just have them be the adventurer now. And so they're like starting to build teams. So they have dedicated delving teams that go in and look inside rocks. They have a dedicated team of Spelljammer pilots now that are a fighter combat squad. They've been building out these different teams to specialize in different roles, and they repopulate those individual teams, and they decide which team do they want to send out on this adventure. And so they're building both multiple character personalities while also advancing the overall structure of their guild, of their bastion. So it's pretty cool. They're 9th level, so they're in the middle of it. They're able to start dealing enough trouble that I can start hitting them with like bigger powered creatures, and it's fun. It's been a lot of fun, and this whole table has never ran a Dominion style campaign. They've never had any BX like BECME experience at all. Half of the people that are playing never played D&D before they joined my campaign. So the last campaign was just was a time travel campaign from level 1 to 20, and it took us a couple years to finish it, but we did. And they're like, yeah, they immediately wanted to dive into a whole new campaign. It's like, yeah, we want another one. So it's like, let's figure out what that campaign is going to be. And they're like, we want to play in Spelljammer because you made that book, and we like Eberron because that's the last campaign setting that you ran for us. So let's stay inside Eberron. And so we basically just made up the asteroid belt idea. To like, it was the most sensible way to blend Eberron with Spelljammer was to utilize the asteroid belt that floats around the planet. So let's lean into that. So we just made a campaign out of that, and it's like, this is an asteroid belt to make it interesting. Like, just as players going on missions, that could get boring. So we could mix up what type of adventures the characters go on based on what happens to your guild, and that's kind of what inspired the idea for making this book, this codified Bastion Campaigns book, and I actually started that campaign in February 2024. So we're over a year now of running that campaign now, and we're halfway through our 20 level progression, and it's fun. It's been a lot of fun. So I'm really excited about pulling this book together. The ideas are good. The mechanics are fun design. It's fun 5e game mechanics. It's the same type of mechanics I already use in the Spelljammer book that I published. That's linked down below, and the martial power system that we typically stream design for at lunchtimes on Mondays and Fridays, and I play test that on my Discord server on Saturday mornings. So, and we could take up to 5 people. We typically have 3, maybe 4. So we have a little room for growth. So if folks are open, anyone that's interested, Saturday morning D&D, we're 5th level right now. It's a mega dungeon, like an old school mega dungeon. Government. I think my music stopped. I'm gonna separate these two. I'm almost done with this list, and then we can break it apart, and then we'll be able to codify stuff. I might actually, I'm not going to be so ambitious as to say that we're going to get done tonight, but we can get damn near done. Damn near done on this one. And so after we finish codifying the facility benefits, we are going to codify bastion conflicts, siege and sabotage, how to attack and defend in siege conflicts, basically. The name is the action. Oh God, yeah. The demi plane has nothing but facility benefits, just like the guild, just like the trophy room. There we go. So like these are probably going to be unique benefits, so they're probably not going to go anywhere. But we gotta go through the process and verify it. Yeah, I'm certain my music stopped. Ooh, we're at Crypt. We're almost done. Barracks. Almost there. Stay on target. Auction house. Armory. It's like one more after this. And archive. Is that it? Yep. This is the last one. Okay, cool. Archive. Okay, now we have all of them, so we can start breaking these apart. When issuing the research order, you can roll an additional Bastion die. So we're gonna call this basic. Yeah, basic. And it's gonna be extra Bastion die. Roll an extra Bastion die. Thank you, Armory. Almost there's a lot that goes into this, so I don't think we're going to need. We need to describe it, but we don't need to do much beyond that, I believe. So it should be pretty easy. When issuing a trade order to obtain materials and non-magical items, you can roll the additional Bastion die. Like this itself, like this is probably the right way to word this, even though it's the simplified version. I could probably end up getting rid of adding the highest result. Like when issuing the trade order to obtain materials or non-magical items, you can roll an additional Bastion die. And then when we go down below, we'll describe the process. So, but that's very short. I don't need, it's always adding the highest die result. So there's no Bastion die when rolling an additional Bastion die. Like that's literally as why do you roll the additional Bastion die? And you do, and the mechanics are always the same. So the mechanics go down below in the basic facility benefits descriptor area. Well, hi, what's going on, Agile? Oh my God, that was Shadow Dark's fun. It's a very basic game. Any game that's super basic is very open to a lot of really good narrative and improvisation and very loose action economy. So you can do stuff with it. I like it. I like it a lot. As a low fidelity game, Shadow Dark's pretty damn good. It's a lot more standardized, kind of like DCC, Dungeon Crawl Classics, how that's more standardized to a D20 system. This is similar to that. So I'm a fan. I am a fan. When issuing defending the Bastion, you can roll an additional Bastion die. When issuing an order to siege a Bastion or settlement, you can roll an additional Bastion die. So this is another example of basic extra Bastion die mechanics that apply to combat as opposed to issuing orders. Like when you attacking something is its own order. This is a unique order or a facility benefit. Sorry. Let's see. Unique. So like this is saying that once per day as a facility benefit, just for having your crypt here, once per day, the crypt can target a body with divine magic, granting the benefits of any spell listed up to the rank of the facility. Once per day, hirelings in the crypt can target a body with divine magic. There you go. But yeah, that is a unique benefit. Now we're looking at Demiplane, which is probably going to be nothing but unique benefits. Demiplane can be used to house facilities without increasing the size of the bastion. Each bastion point spent to improve this facility increases the size of the Demiplane as listed below. Each bastion point spent. We're gonna have to reword this to say ranks and stuff, but for now that works. I don't think there's anything else that does that specifically. And then I don't know if there's I'm certain the Demiplane is its own thing, because I don't know anywhere else that would create an extra dimensional space that allows you to have more room than you really do. So that is definitely a unique benefit. But beyond that, what do I really know what's going on here at Demiplane? I feel like there's probably I think there's something else that does this. Is there something else that does this, or is this the only one? We'll find out. For now, it seems to be unique. This is a time distortion effect. When a facility can craft non-magical items or empower magical items, if the entire facility is inside the Demiplane, reduce the time required to create the item by 1 degree as listed below. So if it would normally take a year, it takes a season. If it would normally take a season, it takes a month. If it would normally take a month, it takes a week. If it would normally take a week, it takes a day. And if it would normally take a day, it only takes 8 hours, and you can do it 3 times during that day. Any facilities that grant additional Bastion dice when making a Bastion check must also be inside the Demiplane to benefit any check made inside the Demiplane. And when characters can spend downtime activity to gain a benefit, if the facility is inside the Demiplane, reduce the time required to gain the benefit to 1 day. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm pretty sure these are all unique orders. So I'm going to boldly, perhaps for now, drop these down here. And this is the third benefit. There. Demiplane, 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 Demiplane. It's a Demiplane plane. There. Put an end to that inanity, son. What's next? Gaming Hall. When issuing the maintain order to determine the lifestyle of the Bastion, you can roll an additional Bastion die. Additional Bastion die? What a surprise. Harvest order. Yeah, there it is. Trade order. Let's grab government again. Here's a unique facility benefits. You can govern a settlement of a rank equal to the number of bastions points expended to improve this facility as detailed in the settlement section below. The difficulty of governing the settlement is determined by its size and population as listed below. This sounds like, that sounds more like, is that an order? No, it's a facility benefit because you install it and it allows you to issue orders to other facilities. That's right. So that is unique. So let's take that down to the unique stack. Garden, greenhouse, guild hall. Whenever I see the word order, I know what it's saying right away. Okay, all these things. The only thing that their benefit is this die, is this basic order. So that's simplifying shit a lot. Let's kick back up here. I'm issuing the research order to learn information about rivals, local NPCs, or that's the war room. The war room is just adding Bastion dice when you issue an order. Yeah, war room is the same. Trophy room, issuing recruit order, issuing research order, researching trade order, empower order, maintain order, craft order, harvest order, all that shit. That's all the same basic order. Attack roll, issuing order to sabotage a rival settlement. Issuing the harvest order, empower order. Order, harvest order, order. Yeah, okay, that's all basic. When issuing the maintain order to determine the lifestyle of Bastion, you can roll an additional die. Also basic. Once per day, when a character finishes a short rest in the sacristy, you regain an expended spell slot up to 5th level. And observatory. This facility can cast the Scry spell once per day. If the target is a creature familiar to the Bastion, they don't need to be on the same plane of existence. Nice. So these are our unique orders. It appears that there is 1, 2, 3, 4 our unique facility benefits. Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's only 7. 6. Is that true? Really? 1? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 of them. 8 unique features that are self-contained upon themselves. and then all of these use the same basic mechanic. So now that we've summarized all that, we can drop back down here. How are we doing on time? We're doing really good. 8:14? Yeah, I've got another 40 minutes and then I'm done. Short session today. But I think we're going to get it resolved. So when we come back Monday night, we'll be working on conflicts, sabotage and siege, Bastion, resolving sabotage and sieges. Very ability check style system for damage we were talking about earlier today already. Unique, common, basic. Various facilities often offer various facilities provide benefits to the Bastion and hirelings. Benefits the Bastion and the hirelings within, as detailed below. Various facilities provide benefits to the Bastion and the hireling within, as detailed below. Basic down. Okay, basic benefit. We're structuring it this way. We could change the names, but breaking down all the components into these little things makes it easy for us to gamify them and to, again, standardize how we make new Bastion facilities in the future, or anyone that picks up the book can understand how the system works and then be able to create their own as well. So, exactly. Basic benefits. Let's see. Various facilities provide there is a basic benefit that many facilities there's a basic benefit that many different facilities provide to the Bastion, and there are unique benefits that are described separately in each facility description. Currently it's above. It might be below later. Now, when a basic benefit, there is a basic benefit that many different facilities provide to the Bastion, as detailed, and there are unique benefits that are described separately in each Bastion, described below. And there are unique benefits that are described separately in each facility description above. Basic benefit. Where did it go? We're going to grab this, copy, paste some facilities, and we're going to call it extra Bastion dice. Basic benefit, and then let's do it like this. Let's see if we can structure it this way. Because the unique benefits are described above, And the basic benefit, there's a basic benefit that many different facilities provide to the Bastion described below, and there are basic benefit, extra Bastion dice. Let's go with like this. Many facilities when a facility provides the benefit of adding a Bastion die to when making a Bastion test, when issuing an order requires a Bastion test. Period. These are all codified words. So when a facility provides the benefit of adding a Bastion die to an order that is issued. Let's try it that way. To an order, so we don't stack up the prepositions. To an order that requires that probably works. When a facility provides the benefit of provides a benefit. When a facility provides a benefit that adds a Bastion die to an when a facility provides a benefit that adds a Bastion die to the Bastion test to an order, adds a Bastion die to an order that requires a Bastion test. The test roll and this is so stupid. Roll an additional Bastion die, keeping the highest, adding the highest result to the D20, to the rank of the Bastion and the roll and the highest result. Let's see. When a facility provides a benefit that adds a Bastion die to an order, that's poorly worded. Let's see. Extra Bastion. The basic facility benefit adds an additional Bastion die to the D20 roll when making a Bastion test. The facility describes which order and what circumstances, if any, apply. The facility describes which order and what circumstances that require a Bastion test. The facility describes which order and what circumstances, if any, require a Bastion test. It describes which one adds the extra Bastion die. This language is horrible. Let's see. Basic benefit, extra Bastion dice. Many facilities provide the benefit of rolling an extra Bastion die, period. When making a Bastion test. The order affected when rolling an extra Bastion die to a Bastion test, roll only the highest result, only the highest number rolled on the Bastion dice. Only the highest number rolled on the Bastion dice is added to the D20 plus Bastion rank to determine the result of the Bastion test. For example, a 3rd rank Bastion issuing an order to research, issuing the research order. For example, a 3rd rank Bastion issuing the research order typically rolls 1d20 plus 3 plus 1d8. If the Bastion has an archive, if the Bastion has an archive, you can roll 2 Bastion. If the Bastion has an archive, one of the benefits is rolling an extra Bastion die when ordering the research. When issuing the research order, period. And let's see, where's another one that improves research? This is what I get for being out of order. Trophy room. Information about creatures or items. You can roll an additional Bastion die. There we go. For example, a 3rd rank Bastion issuing the research order typically rolls 1d20 plus 3 plus 1d8. If the Bastion has an archive, if in this example, if this Bastion has an archive, one of the benefits is rolling an extra Bastion die when issuing the research order. The extra Bastion die is determined by the rank of the facility providing providing it. There we go. So, for example, a third rank Bastion issuing the research order typically rolls 1d20 plus 3 plus d8. If the Bastion has a third rank archive, has a first rank archive. Oh, wait, there we go. Yeah, if the Bastion has, and this is the right way to do it, has an archive, one of the benefits is rolling an extra Bastion die when issuing the research order. If the archive is first rank, the extra die is 1d4. If the archive is second rank, the extra die is 1d8, 6. If the archive is third rank, the extra die is 1d8. If the results of the Bastion dice is 3, 2, and 3, whatever. I don't need to add that in. You'd keep the 3. When issuing the same order more than once per Bastion turn, all Bastion dice rolled are reduced by 1. There. And so, for example, the archive is second rank. Etc. Let's do it like this. A fourth rank Bastion issuing the research order typically rolls 1d20 plus 4 plus 1d10. If the Bastion has an archive, one of the benefits is rolling an extra Bastion die when issuing the research order. If the archive is first rank, the extra die is 1d4. If the archive is second rank, the extra die is 1d6. Period, etc. A fourth rank Bastion with a second rank archive issuing the research order rolls 1d20 plus 4 plus 1d10 or 1d10 and 1d6. If the Bastion issues a second research order, roll 1d20 plus 4 plus 1d8 plus 1d4. Keeping the highest result between adding the higher result between the two dice. Yeah, that explains it. Maybe not perfectly, but it explains the basic mechanic. So when you issue more orders, it fatigues your die down until you lose your die altogether. The die represents how well your hirelings are working together to execute the order. The D20 and the rank of the Bastion is just basically the baseline of like how well is the task executed. And then you add the Bastion die to represent how well the team is synergizing to be able to achieve the goal. So if you're rolling as you issue the same order, like research this magic spell, research this apartment complex, and research the background on this politician, that's 3 different research orders that you've issued to the same Bastion. It's fatiguing the ability of the researchers to cover all this shit at the same time. So as you add on additional orders, it has a lower and lower chance of the hirelings being capable of being able to carry out that order optimally. Blech. So you have this decreasing. So like that's like a way to that's a mechanic, a narrative mechanic that prevents you from like creating like 5 wands of lightning, like 5 wands of fireballs or whatever at a time. It's like you can, but you're going to have a low, like the wand of fireballs is a rare magic item, so that's a DC 20. And if you're trying to create so many magic wands at the same time that you've driven your dice down to 0, you've basically got a D20 plus your Bastion rank to be able to create that wand. And chances are you're just creating complications it's just going to slow it down anyway. So you may as well just not do it and just focus on one item that you'll be successful with and avoid complications by trying to create multiple items. But if you think you can get away with it, go ahead, because the system is designed to allow you to do that. Each order is 1 item, or in the case of non-magical items, a bulk order of a gold piece value up to whatever rank you are. So you have these increasing scale of rarity and magic gold piece value of things that you can create. And once you get to the highest, the 5th rank, 200,000, it's like a season. Like it takes a season to build things, but like it could take multiple seasons to make something like a castle that's 250,000 gold. Takes more than a season. You start breaking it down into dollar amounts. A 5th rank guild could potentially throw a castle up in as quick as 6 months. But like a 3rd rank Bastion, it can only handle 4,000 gold. It can only handle 4,000 gold at a time. So that 250,000 gold piece castle, it's gonna take them a year and a half to make. A huge difference in scale, but it's also a huge difference in resources and manpower available and labor, just raw labor to be able to make things happen, which is represented by the higher rank guilds. So when you get into really expensive stuff, it's like how quick, like anyone can make a hammerhead spelljamming ship, but they cost 80,000 gold to make. So a 5th rank Bastion can make one basically in 1 season, but a 2nd rank guild that can only deal with 40,000 gold piece chunks of stuff at a time, it's going to take them 2 seasons to make it. So, like, because they don't have the same scale of resources and labor that the 5th rank Bastion does. It's that much of a difference. From 3rd to 4th rank, it goes from 4,000 to 40,000. So the difference between a 3rd rank and a 4th rank Bastion is a magnitude of 10. So it's actually not as bad between 4th and 5th as it is from second to 3rd and 3rd to 4th. Like it's 100 gold to 400 gold, which is 4 times the cost, and then from 400 to 4,000, 10 times. From 4,000 to 40,000, that's 10 times the cost as well. And then from 40,000 to 200,000, which is 5 times. So it's 4 times, 10 times, 10 times, 4 times, 10 times, 10 times, 5 times. 4 times, 10 times, 10 times. Yeah, because you start at first rank always. You always just start at first rank. So there's those 4 degrees. Sorry, I got lost in math there for a second. Math was being weird to me. Counting was weird for a second, but we fixed it. So now that's our basic downtime task. So now we understand how the basic facility works, and then basic benefit, extra dice. There's a lot of extra basic benefits. There's multiple downtime benefits, so it makes sense to break them up and then have unique downtime activities as its own category, even though it's just a nothing burger of a statement. And same thing with orders. There's a bunch of unique orders, variant orders, and basic orders. But we've just codified basically how orders work. So let's take a look again. Now that we've defined how the basic benefit of extra Bastion dice work. Oh, we should also mention the extra Bastion die is determined by the rank of the facility providing it. Multiple facilities that each offer an extra Bastion die is when multiple facilities each offer an extra Bastion die that applies to a Bastion test, all dice are rolled. All extra Bastion dice. All extra dice are rolled, adding the highest result. Let's see. For example, a 4th rank Bastion issuing the research order rolls 1d20 plus 4 plus d10. If the Bastion has an archive, one of the benefits is rolling an extra Bastion die. If a Bastion has both an archive and trophy room, they each provide the benefit of rolling an extra Bastion die when issuing the research order. If the archive is 1st rank, the extra die is a d4. If the trophy room is 2nd rank, the extra die is d6. A 4th rank Bastion with a 2nd rank archive, a 1st rank, and 2nd rank trophy room issuing the research order rolls 1d20 plus 4 plus d8 and d6 and d4 and 1d4, adding the highest result between the 3 dice. If the Bastion issued a 2nd research order, roll 1d4 plus d8 plus d4. Since issuing a 2nd order reduces a d4 down to 0, since issuing a 2nd research order reduces the 1d4 of the archive to no die since issuing a second research order reduces the size of the Bastion die rolled, the 1d4 provided by the archive is reduced to 0. There. That covers all the mechanics. Maybe not as elegantly as I would hope, but that's why I hire an editor to help bash out with me a second opinion. Hey, does this make sense? No. Doesn't make any fucking sense. Figure it out. Thanks. Okay. When issuing an order to attack a rival bastion or settlement, you can roll an additional bastion die. There you go. Single, simple, easy line. Minimizing the text. I think it was worth spelling out all those caveat mechanics because it groups them all together so you understand how it works. When issuing the research order to learn information about neighboring nations, rivals, local events, and NPCs, you can roll an additional bastion die, period. When issuing a recruit order to acquire monsters, specialists, or sidekicks, you can roll an additional bastion die, period. So, yeah, we're basically just going to press delete and period a whole bunch of times, and then we'll be done with this. When issuing the trade order, you can roll an additional bastion die, period. And it's 8:45, so we'll have time to finish this. We're actually on time this session. What? What? That's awesome. When making an empower check, you can roll an additional bastion die. There you go. Super simple. In order to sabotage a rival bastion or settlement, you can roll an additional bastion die. I love how simple that is. It just delights me to be so simple. So simple. Basic facility benefit. Unique facility benefit. We have to break these things down that way. Roll an additional event each bastion turn. Yep. So we could actually, yes, we could. We can do this. We can do this. Nice. All right, let's go back to the beginning, or the end, my friend. When issuing the research order to learn information about neighbors, rivals, and local events, add a bastion die, add a bastion die. When issuing the trade order to acquire, you can roll an additional bastion die, bastion die, bastion die, bastion die, bastion die. Family benefits, facility benefits. When we issue the maintain order to determine the lifestyle of the bastion, you can roll an additional bastion die. When we're in issue to sabotage a rival bastion or settlement, you can roll an additional bastion die, and then unique downtime benefit. Basic downtime activity. Beep. Codified. Craft order to make an unmagical item. You can roll an additional bastion die. Additional bastion die. I'm making a song here, guys, because I'm bored. Because I have to type. Because I have to cut paste the same line like 1,000 times. So I'm making a sing song out of it to keep me from going crazy. So that means that you get to go crazy with me, don't you? Roll an additional bastion die. Why isn't Bastion spelled with an U? Hey, an additional Bastion die. Maybe I'm willing to write off-screen basic facility benefits. Maybe I can spare everyone that process, that painstaking process. Yeah, I'm still here. You can roll an additional Bastion die. We already know most of these is just going to be the same. Roll an additional Bastion die and then move along. Unique. This is a unique facility benefit. Nice. Well done, Kearney. And this is another basic facility benefit. We're going to write it out. Basic. Yeah, basic. Basic facility benefit. And you are unique, like a snowflake. You are basic orders. See, by spelling them out, if they're basic, unique, or variant, it informs you with the document on how text works. Self-referential. I love it. What a concise system. I'm actually pretty proud of this one. Roll an additional Bastion die. Huh. Never would have expected that. Facility benefit. Basic. Basic orders. Yeah, I can fill in all this stuff without you guys. That'll be cool. But I just wanted to torture you just a little bit. But yeah, this is the last thing that we're doing today for sure. This is unique benefit. I love it. You can roll an additional Bastion die. Basic facility benefit. Roll an additional Bastion die. Nice. Downtime activity using this facility gains the benefit of that's downtime. That's not facility benefits. Facility benefit. There we go. Bastion die. Hey, we're getting it all figured out here, aren't we? Yeah, so I mean struggling for words here. The conflict system it's super. I mean, it's legit pretty simple. It's basically the same ability check system. The Bastion die is the damage that you deal. You can order multiple. You can issue multiple orders. Per Bastion turn to attack the same Bastion multiple times. Again, if you issue the same order, if your Bastion issues the same order multiple times, the troops that are performing the attack or the spies that are sabotaging are going to become less and less efficient as they go along, and it eats up more and more of your orders. So it's costing you resources to do these things, but you can. A good strategy instead is to have multiple Bastions that are able to coordinate different squads that can attack in tandem or together, so that they're always rolling with their highest die. You just employ multiple Bastions, which is why you want to create an alliance. In these movies, you see armies forming with all these different alliances to form the army. Well, each one of those armies, they might be smaller than the whole, but they're not going to be fatigued by issuing multiple orders over and over again. You have multiple groups that can all issue one order at top capacity, so that they can then make individual decisions if they want to risk continuing to make additional orders. So The risk that you face is if you fail your attack against your target, you create you basically damage yourself. And if you're how to put it, you're whittling down your bastion die. So if I fail to attack, if I attack you and fail, I'm going to lose troops based on the rank that I am. So it's going to fracture them into a smaller army because they attacked and failed. They lose men in the process. You lose troops. So your bastion die is permanently lowered until you return your troops and then can recruit new troops to replace them. So you're basically showing how your army is being whittled down over failed attacks. So when you have a huge bastion that's attacking a fortress and it's throwing literally thousands of troops at it, and they have a shit roll, they're going to get knocked down in rank of power, and they're going to lose bastion points. And once they run out of bastion points that are attached to the army, you take bastion points and you invest them into your army so that they can go out and have the resources they need to go across the land to go attack that thing over there. You have to establish a supply chain, and that uses bastion points. So you have to have spare bastion points to attack somebody. And so when you're attacking them and you start cutting as the army loses conflicts, the bastion die, you losing bastion points is going to whittle down the temporary bastion that you're creating out of this army. And when it burns out of points, it's out of troops. So like you've killed off your entire army. Or you could retreat with like half your points, and you've been reduced from a second rank army with 400 troops down to a first rank first rank army with only 100 troops left. And if you lose those, you lose your army altogether. And those, to get that army from first to second rank, you had to invest. We're still figuring that out. We're still figuring out how many points you have to invest. But it's probably more than one per rank, and it's probably less than 10. Maybe it's I don't know, maybe it's 5 points. Maybe it's 5 points per rank of army. Yeah. Maybe that was shit, man. That'd be fucking expensive. Maybe it should be maybe just 1 point per rank. Maybe that is the right way to go. So a first rank army, which could have like 10 guys, that's one bastion point. That's one resource. But I could have as a first rank bastion, I could have like as soon as I get to 10 points, I'm a second rank bastion. So I could purchase groups of 10 for 1 point each. So like if I have 7 points in my bastion, I'm a first rank bastion, I could potentially spend 7 points to maintain an army of 70 men as my mercenary squad. And I use bastion conflicts to steal resources from towns and caravans and stuff. And as I steal those bastion points, I can start bolstering my army, but also help reinforce with like a campground now, and establishing our own supply chain. Maybe we found a river that we can farm at, so we can use that for food resources to harvest from. So even though we're a merry band of thieves, we're starting to operate in the woods and taking control of the woods and using the game and the resources in that woods to keep our band of merry men active as basically 70 mercenaries at a very low profile. But as soon as we grow too much, we become a second rank bastion, and that vastly expands our abilities to harass other organizations. So there you go. That's Robin Hood. Like in a quick nutshell, you've got Nottingham as a settlement with bastion points that is being basically attacked by the king, and is having all of its resources drained from it greedily to stockpile bastion points in the kingdom. And then you've got Robin Hood, which is a branch organization that's basically peeled off of Nottingham to form this band of brigands to combat the king. So you have a conflict between two bastions: the Merrymen's encampment and the king's castle. and the battleground is basically Hamlet, Nottingham, as a hamlet in between them, or it's like a village or whatever. So that's how you would frame Robin Hood as a Bastion campaign. Each week you're targeting like different supply chains or royalty that are coming and going, or the treasury of the king, and the king is attacking the taxes of the village as Robin Hood redistributes the wealth so they can survive another round of barrage from the king's men. So you're actually creating this feedback loop where the king is constantly having to steal more treasure back from the villagers that get stolen from them by Robin Hood, that then get redistributed to the community in Nottingham. So it's basically just this cat and mouse game between Robin Hood and Prince John. That's it. And Prince John's and the prince's troops. You're basically using Nottingham as the battleground when you should actually probably be fighting that out physically, and that's starting to spill over, and that's how the campaign proceeds. So like you could run a first rank Bastion campaign where there's no combat. You're just raiding and stealing and doing heists and learning who like the captain of the guard is, and like who's John's vassals and attendants, so you can start manipulating them. And then by the time you get to second rank Bastion with 5th level characters, now you can start opening up. You're strong enough to be able to actually do combat and have a decent chance of winning. So that's when you would open that up for your players to start engaging. I can now fight the captain of the guard and blah blah blah. You can roll an additional Bastion die. Period. So that's how that would work, and I never thought about that before. But like, yeah, in like 5 minutes, we figured out how you could run a fully functioning Robin Hood campaign from like from level 1 to 9 would probably be realistic. At that point, you're starting to do some pretty supernatural shit. So that's probably a good place to end that campaign. But if you wanted to make it like orcs against the spider, like against House Do'Urden or something, like in Forgotten Realms, and hype up the magic, you could run that from level 1 to 20. And the campaign is the orcs are rebelling against their Drow slave masters to bring down Menzoberranzan from the inside. Like, God, what a god tier task to perform. That could be framed around the orc slaves have their own internal structure and their own hierarchy and their own communication. That would be how we would establish that Robin Hood sort of feeling inside of Menzoberranzan, perhaps. But I kind of like the British Woods. I actually think that's a lot more fun. But that is to say that type of campaign can be done in multiple formats. Unique facility benefits. That's right. Unique facility benefits. But I think that's a really fun example. Check when when issuing a roll additional Bastion die. Period. You can roll an additional Bastion die. Super close to done. 903. Yeah. As soon as I finish, I got like 2 or 3 more things. So we're gonna come back and we're going to work on that. We're going to codify Bastion conflicts. And that'll be Monday night. And I suspect we'll probably be able to get that resolved Monday night. And that means on Thursday next week, I'll have my normal start, like my normal 5:30 starting time. So we'll be able to roll through a lot of content next week. Bastion die. Bastion die. Roll an additional Bastion die. Bastion die. Basic facility benefit. Basic facility benefits. And we're done. Okay. Cool. Okay, so we're done. Yeah, we'll do conflicts on Monday. We'll probably finish conflicts Monday, and then on Thursday, if we didn't finish conflicts, we'll finish it for sure on Thursday, and then however much time we have on Thursday, we'll then dedicate to reviewing the Bastion events that frame complications that week, and then flesh out the complications so they jive with the new structure of orders that we have here and the revisions that we make to the Bastion events. Bastion events are good and bad, and complications occur. When complications occur, they're framed around what different Bastion events are happening right now. Some of the benefits are multiple Bastion events are happening at the same time. So you've got multiple fronts that are happening all the time, and whenever something goes wrong, the DM can basically pick or roll which event is being modified by this complication, and that way you can breathe more life and create adventure hooks for your characters on an episodic weekly basis. Like our team right now in our Spelljammer campaign, they have decided that they're going to use a Bastion order to send a diplomacy envoy to Droam to try to find out how they can stop them from buying up so much territory that they cut the characters off from being able to expand their asteroid mining. They're about to get closed in because all the surrounding territories are getting gobbled up. So they're trying to find a way, how can we carve a path through this so that we can keep this territory open? And they've had a lot of hostile conflict with Droam. So this is not going to go well for them at all. So they didn't want to deal with that as players. They thought this is going to be ugly and it's probably not going to be that involved. It's just going to be, here's your bad news. So they decided to skip that. Instead, the adventure that they've chosen to pursue is while they were attempting to mine a particularly tasty piece of silver ore off of an asteroid, something caused the gravity around that area to shift. And now those asteroids are flying towards the planet and can potentially destroy a community if it's not resolved. But their mining crew is disabled. So whatever gravity effect happened that knocked this asteroid off course also stranded their mining group. For them to have any chance of being able to blow up and reduce that rock to nothing so it doesn't hurt anybody upon hitting atmosphere, they have to get their mining crew up and running again fast. So they're sending in a fighter craft to basically explore the area, find out what happened, deal with whatever anomaly needs to be dealt with, and if necessary, drag the mining crew to the asteroids that are off course so that they can break them down fast enough so they don't harm anybody. That's their current mission. That's their task this week. And we only play 1 hour a week at lunch during our office hours. I play with coworkers, so we play 1 hour per week. So the way that I built this game allows us to actually make meaningful progress 1 hour at a time. So it's a very Beck-Me, Shadow Dark, system light sort of game that's designed to move quickly and encourage improvisation and using outside of the box thinking to come up with cool narratives and ways to resolve stories, because they're meant to be fast so they move forward quickly, and to be short so they only last a couple weeks, and then we move on to the next adventure. So we basically right now have an adventure about every month or so, while a normal table could have a new adventure every week. Like, we are typically resolving adventures in 4-hour blocks. The longest has been 6 weeks, 6 sessions. So that would be in World, that would be 6 hours, which would be like 2 typical sessions of D&D. Otherwise, most of these adventures could be resolved in a single like 4-hour block of like sit down and play D&D. And an entire adventure could be resolved. And so you could spend like a 3-hour block doing the adventure and then have an hour left over of doing your Bastion turn to update so that you know what adventure you want to have next week. Or you could block off the entire time, run your 4-hour adventure, Next week, we're going to sit down, we're going to do Bastion stuff and progress the world. So it would make sense, like if everyone was enjoying that style, that everyone would have their own Bastion point system set up. So you could have more activities happening at the same time. And then everyone decides of all the complications that happen across everyone's Bastion, what do we want to focus on? And then we'll leave the rest of those tasks to the Bastion to resolve with a Bastion check. So, but we'll get into that. We'll lean into that because we're going to do conflicts next, and then we're going to do Bastion events, and then we're going to redo Bastion conflicts, and then that will finish the book. Like those will be all the mechanics that we need for the book to then be published. Then we start fleshing out the details, like examples. I've been playtesting these ideas for a year. These are the specific rules here, though. So I need to make a playtest campaign. So we're going to, I'm going to run Storm King's Thunder on my Discord server, and we're going to use both the Mecha Kaiju mechanics I built for Spelljammer so that you can fly around in 50-foot Gundam, Evangelion, Robotech, Veritech type ships fighting space monsters in Spelljammer, and make the Storm King's Citadel basically a floating dwarven fortress that is the hangar bay, basically the hangar bay and barracks for your characters to go on these missions to fight these kaijus in these different communities that are within the protective space of this flying citadel. And that's how we're going to build Storm King's Thunder as a Spelljammer campaign. The citadel becomes your bastion, and you can then set up satellite defense posts at different cities as you go along, investing resources in defenses so that those cities can become secure and protect themselves from further kaiju attack. And as you go around to different communities, maybe a community will lose its defenses and now it's being attacked again. You have to go back to that place to bolster its defenses. And the goal is to end all kaiju attacks and bolster the defenses of the collective settlements so that they can be self-sufficient in defending themselves. Thus, then the Storm King Citadel then just goes into basically doing basic policing patrol work just to make sure nothing weird, gets past their defenses or anything like on the horizon. Or you can go off and develop a new cluster, But that campaign would be ended like when the eight different communities become self-sufficient in defending themselves against kaiju attack. Then we can move on from this cluster and move on to another cluster. And that, like, if we did a full 20 level campaign, we could do that from from level 1 to 10. And then from a level 11 to 20, we can expand our operations. Maybe there's a foe that we need to vanquish from the entire system, or maybe we take control of a number of small systems in a cluster in astral space, whatever. But we're just going to run Storm King's Thunder probably from I think it's going to go from level 1 to 12. So we'll be doing that on my Discord server probably starting in November, and we'll probably run that through July. So it'll take half a year to run through that, but it's a Mecha Kaiju book, and as this proves itself, we can move forward with publishing this because I already know this stuff works. I've been running a campaign using this style of game. It's just these specific benefits are what need to be tested to make sure that the crafting rules don't get out of hand. And we'll know that in the first 5 levels. So by the time we get to February next year, we'll probably know that these mechanics are valid because they'll be repairing their Spelljammer ships and their fighter, their war golems, and they'll be making new magic items to supplement and buff and improve the abilities of their war mecha, their war golems, just like XCOM does. But anyway, you'll see it. It'll be really fucking cool. You'll see it. So that's it for now, guys. I'm out of here. I'm going to be back tomorrow morning to continue working on the stained glass parasol of Irian, an artifact for Eberron that we've been putting in the book I Have Mabar, the adventure that we've been creating. I'll be doing more artwork for that tomorrow morning. And it's Friday, so no, you know what? Honestly, I don't think I'm going to be... I'm not going to do lunch tomorrow. I'm going to do end of day tomorrow. So from 5 till 6 o'clock Seattle time, I'm going to be streaming Spellpoint Sorcerer. But normally I do it at lunch, but I need to do... My lunch is being usurped today. It's being hijacked. So I can't do stuff at lunchtime tomorrow. So I'm going to make it up to everybody and do it at 5 o'clock Friday afternoon while I wait for my weekend activities to begin. And then we'll be playtesting. We'll be playtesting Martial Powers at 5th level on Saturday morning on my Discord server. Anyone that's interested is welcome to drop in and say hey. We can get you indoctrinated if you're interested in doing so. But otherwise, I'm out of here. So like, subscribe, bell icons. Check out my books down below. They're cool. I'll see you guys later. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate you. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks.